Welcome back to Part 2 Garden. This week's tour, we're starting from the back alleyway. This is an area that I really don't spend too much time viewing the garden from, but it is a really nice view that my neighbors and people in the neighborhood get to see as they come down our alleyway. So the first plant we have back here that basically acts as a screen for the alley, this is my Magnolia grandiflora. Now this is one of the small-leafed dwarf varieties. This is K. Paris. It's my favorite of all the grandifloras because of the indentum on the bottom isn't overbearing. It's still nice, but you have this really nice dark foliage that's, smaller than most of the other magnolias. And the flowers are a little bit smaller than your typical grandiflora, so you get a little bit of a difference than some of the big giant southern mags. Now I'm a sucker for full sun big perennials, and one of my favorites is the Persicaria polymorpha. That's a really cool tree there, but we'll talk about that in a few more weeks. So we're going to skip to another kind of not seen too often area. So this is like the back side of the garden, and there's this salvia here that's blooming right now. This is Salvia pratensis hematodes. So this thing just flops like crazy for me. I don't know if I need to look at a relocation for it next year, but every year it sends up these flower stalks that are about, say, 3 foot in height, and they just flop to the ground. So I do leave this lower limb on the witch hazel here just for its support. But that color, really, really nice. You can see the Axminster Gold Symphytum. Flowers are finally open. This color combination here of the blue fescue grass and that red eucomis, and that is Rhode Island red. That is an Aesima introduction. Yeah, that red off that blue, that is really striking this time of year. And then right next to it, this little purple, almost looks like a mace, like a mace ball. This is Phytuma. Cool perennial to try to grow. Wants full sun, needs drainage. They tend to kind of rot out if they're in too wet of soil. This blooming right here, this is Asphodelus white goat. This was a plant that I purchased from Aesima maybe 2-3 years ago, so it has this really nice flower spike. As you can see, everything's a little wet. Got a little bit of rain this morning, and we're expecting some really nice storms this afternoon. So much needed rain coming our way. So I've always had like a love-hate relationship with ornamental grasses. I think a lot of people just use them improperly. And this one has slowly become, I think, my favorite in my garden. This is Stipa gigantea. Now this has been hardy here for at least 3, if not 4 years. And you can see the height on this tall escape here. That probably is about 6.5 feet tall, maybe 7 when it's standing upright. The hydrangea grove is starting to get really lush this time of year. Just waiting for all the flowers to start popping. So a new plant for this year that we're trying to see if it's hardy here for us. This is Alstroemeria. This is Inca Bandit. You know, they say they're zone 7, zone 8, and we sit zone 7 here. So we're gonna see if this thing comes back for us next year. Always wanted to try one, so we saw one for sale and just grabbed it, so we'll see what happens. I think the fishies are hungry. They're up at the surface looking for me. Let's throw them some food. It's a really cool Nymphophia here. It's not quite open yet. This was purchased through Far Reaches Farm out in Washington, and this is their introduction called Shiny Beast. And you know, I like the orange off that silver cardoon leaf. So this here is Raymania elata. It's I think Chinese foxglove, what they call the common name for this. This could be a quite runner in the garden. I try to keep it in check. So, but it's worth having. Really cool flower. The size of this Pedicites Japonicus giganteus leaf, you know, for scale. There's my hand. So I would say that's at least 2.5 feet across, maybe even close to 3. Another thug in the garden, but I keep it to one single rosette, so all the energy kind of goes to one area, and I just pull up any runners. So this polygonatum here, this is Bayako. So this is an interesting one because it comes up pure green, and then you get these white splashes on the terminal ends. This is Digitalis trojana. Now this perennial stays evergreen for me. That basal foliage will stay evergreen through the winter. It's one of my few Digitalis that actually perform very well for me here. On this post here of all these different clematis, the Negricjanca really starting to open a lot of flowers up. It's a really nice dark purple. There's a red one in here too right now. I'm not sure which one it is. It might be Burning Love. And I think we'll finish today's tour looking at this Lonicera that I have climbing up my downspout in the front of the house. So this is Munster. I got a bunch of different Linacers around. Really good pollinator plant. We get a lot of hummingbird activity as the season goes on here. So I try to have a couple different ones around. And you can just see in the background there the Calycanthus Aphrodite is really starting to pop. Now for me that blooms from, it was blooming a week ago, so mid-May up and through mid-August. So I get 3 months of flowers on that. And to me that is the best of all the Calycanthus on the market. Thanks for checking in. See you in a few days.